are back with the next part of my February Shop My Stash Roundup kind of video. I decided I'm going to try to film these more in like little sections and put it all together as one big video. So I'm going to be telling you guys all about the first 2 weeks in this section, and I will definitely be adding to it for the last 2 weeks of February, but I thought this might be a little bit easier way for me to film this. So we are going to try to go through this a lot quicker than my last one. If you guys didn't see that video, that one I will have linked below. It was my January Shop My Stash, and I went through all of the products, told you what I thought about them, which ones I liked, which ones I didn't like, which ones I had to get rid of, things like that. So we are going to do the same thing for February now. I have still been thoroughly enjoying this little project, and I am so glad I decided to do this, but without further ado, let me just really hurry up and get into this because I am trying to not make this another hour-long video. So you guys, I will do my best. So here is a quick little sneak peek of everything that we used for week 1 of February. Once again, I have my little notes here to help me remember what I thought about all of these products. So starting off with the first product that I have here, this was the primer I was using for the week. This one is from W7 and it's called the Keep It Glassy Illuminating Primer. I have been doing a lot of these like little serum primers lately, so you're definitely going to see quite a few of these over the next few weeks. And this one has like a little bit of like a shimmery iridescence to it, but overall when you put it on your skin, it really doesn't give you like that much like shimmer or glow or anything. So I think that it was overall pretty much more of like a really subtle type of primer, but I did like it, but it's not something that I would purchase again. It's just kind of one of those things that I liked it because it's so thin, it really sinks into my skin, and I have dry skin. So this is definitely something that I like, but it's probably not something I would like repurchase, but it definitely has been getting the job done this week. So next up for my foundation for this week, I actually picked out the Holika Holi Pop BB Cream Glow, and this one is a luminous kind of BB cream. I do think that this one was a little bit light for me, and I actually did receive this in PR. I think I got this from YesStyle like several years ago, so they did send it to me for free, but I did like this one. I just feel like the color of it was a little bit light. However, I did really like the coverage of this one. Is a little bit more of like a light to medium type of coverage, probably a little bit more towards the light side, but with having a little bit of like that glowiness with this, it definitely kind of gave you like a really healthy looking kind of complexion. It was definitely one that I did need to set with powder though, because it's almost just a little bit too glowy for my liking, and I definitely don't like when they kind of like slip and slide around, so I definitely did have to powder with this one, but I did enjoy it. But once again, not really anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have that again in my life once it's gone. So I will definitely happily use this one up, but not one I think I would repurchase. Next up for my concealer, this was like a little random one that I had gotten from Shop Miss A, and this one is the AOA Studio Liquid Concealer, and this one is in the color L2. Now the strange thing about this one is like it's the second lightest color, but this one honestly has like a little bit of an olive tone to it, which kind of like threw me because I'm not an olive tone girl at all, but I did like the color of it, but the tone was just a little bit off. I did make it work for the week, but once again, this is probably something like I kind of feel like I would need to mix something with it to make the color tone a little bit more appropriate for my skin tone. So I didn't love this one, but I will find a way to use it. I might even like use it as a foundation and then just do some color drops just so I can use it up quicker. But overall, I don't know, I didn't love this one, but like I said, it got me through the week. And this one was really inexpensive. I feel like I would definitely try this again if I could get the lighter color, because maybe that one would be a little bit better suited for me, but either way, I don't know, take it or leave it. So for my powder this week, I actually had a kind of like mini deluxe sample of the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I know a lot of people have like raved about this for years, and I think I got this maybe as like a birthday gift at Sephora possibly. I can't remember, but I feel like that's where I must have gotten it. But it's just like one of those little setting powders, and it's like a translucent one. The only thing I didn't like is that maybe just because it's like really packed in here, and the way it's just like one of those typical little kind of like sprinkle lids, I felt like it was really hard for me to get the powder out of here because it was packed in there so well. But I did really like it, but I don't really think that it was like anything that blew my mind. I kind of feel like as far as like powders go, I'm kind of like not as picky as I used to be. So I definitely liked this one, but I don't think I would purchase this myself because I think these are a little bit more expensive, but I definitely appreciate having this and also having it in like a little smaller container as well. So for the next item, I'm going to skip right to the palette because a lot of the items that I used this week were included in this palette. And this one is the Ofra Good to Go palette. And I believe I got this from like a BoxyCharm a long time ago and I literally had never used it. So this is what the palette looks like here. So there are eyeshadows up here. There's 4, 5, 6 eyeshadows. There are 3 shimmers, 3 mattes, and then there is this big highlighter pan here. And then there is a matte blush and a matte bronzer. So this was really kind of like one of the main items that I was using this week. So as far as the bronzer goes, I was using this color here. That one is in the color Intentions, and I did really like that one. I put that it was a light coverage kind of bronzer, so it was really buildable, not too dark right off the bat, and it was easy to blend and not too dark. So I did really like that one, and it was so convenient having like a lot of my face products in this palette. So then the blush here, this one's in the color Current. Once again, I really like this one. It's a nice warm tone kind of pink, which I think really flatters my skin tone a little bit better. It is like a matte finish, so I also like that. And once again, really buildable, not too hard to blend or anything like that. And then for the highlighter here is, most days I just kind of like swirled it all together and it turned out with like a really pretty kind of color. So I definitely really liked this for my face products. And once again, having it all together here was really convenient. But as far as the shadow goes, I do like the look of the shadows, but I have since recently realized I don't really necessarily like the look of like red tone shadows on my eyes. In theory, you think that I might like those because I do have green eyes and red and green are complement colors, and I do feel like reds do like make my eyes pop, but I also feel like reds kind of make my eyes look like really sickly and tired, and I really kind of had to just kind of go with a lot of those reds this week. But I did kind of use the brown every once in a while to kind of like tone down the reds and things like that. But overall, I did really like the shadows. I really love this shimmer here and this shimmer here. This one is called Goals and this one's called Ambition. No, I think I might have got this backwards. Either way, I did really like those two shimmers. I thought they were really pretty. The mattes were okay, but I was kind of let down by this minty green color, which is such a pretty color. But whenever I put it on my eyes one day, it really kind of just like didn't give me much green at all. And it ended up kind of looking kind of grayish on my eyes by the end of the day. So I was kind of let down by that one. But other than that, I did think this was pretty. I think I would just want to swap out some of these colors with some other eyeshadows. So that might be something I do in the future when I come back to this palette. But overall, I did really like this one and I can't believe I hadn't used it before at all. And I've had it in my collection for like several years. So for brows, I had this little random eyebrow pencil that I had. I honestly don't know. Oh, it's from Physicians Formula. I've had this for so long. This was actually a really good color though. It was in the color Dark Blonde and it was called the Brow Tweeze. It used to have like a little like miniature pair of tweezers on the end here that you could use to like, you know, tweeze your brows as you're doing your eyebrows. But I lost that like forever ago. So now I'm just down to this little eyebrow pencil. I actually think it worked pretty well though for my eyebrows. It was just a little bit of a harder pencil though. So I did kind of have to like really kind of draw on my brows, but overall it was okay. I don't even think they sell this anymore, but I am working on trying to use it up. For my eye primer, I used, all the writing has rubbed off so it doesn't look like anything, but this was from, I think it's Luscious Angel maybe? And this one is their eye primer. This one I got in a BoxyCharm like probably 3 years ago, and this was like my main go-to eyeshadow primer for like the last like 2 or 3 years because I was trying to use it up. I am almost done with it, but I had to put it back in the rotation, and I feel like I like this one a lot because it does kind of blank out the veins in my eyelids. However, the color of this one is too dark for me, so it definitely is a little bit too like yellowy tan looking on my eyes. So a lot of the time I would actually kind of put like a little drop of like a color corrector, like a white color corrector, to try to like lighten it up just a little bit. But I do really like this one, but it's not quite my color, so I don't think I'd repurchase this one. But you guys, I am so close, and I've been working on this one for ever. I've like honestly like 2 to 3 years at least. I'm still using the 2 Essence products, I'm using the Essence Lash Princess Primer and the Pink Lash Princess, still using those. I am probably going to be using these for the rest of the month, but maybe by March I'll have them all used up. Now for my liquid liner, this was one that I got from, I think like TJ Maxx, and I got it because it was really, really pretty and sparkly. And this is actually a like two type of product. There is a liner on one side and then there is like a brow pin on the other. I was using this for eyeliner, and this one is so close to drying up. I really didn't even do eyeliner for most of the week until towards the end of the week. I actually got the idea to take some tweezers and take out the little felt tip pin part, and you can actually like flip it around and put it back in there, and that was able to help me get like a few more days of use out of this. But this is so close to being used up as far as the eyeliner side of it, but I definitely do still have the product for the brow. So I'm definitely gonna have to like try to put this back in the rotation, but I'm honestly thinking that by the time I get back to it, when it comes back around, that it might be dried up. So we will revisit that then. I did like this one, but there's nothing that special to it. It is like a little felt tip pen, but I typically prefer more of like a brush pen style liquid liner. So this one is okay, but I definitely want to keep it because like the packaging is so pretty. And of course I will try to use up the brow product too. I just don't love it. So might be one of those ones I kind of have to struggle through just a little bit. And then for the cream liner that I used, this was another Ulta cream liner. This one is the color Copper. This one I actually really loved. It is such a pretty like coppery bronze kind of color, and I felt like it looked really pretty with a lot of the shadows that I did this week with that palette. So this one is so creamy, and it's so funny because I'll talk a little bit about it in the next set of products, but it's also one of the Ulta ones, but it was a purple color, but it was so dry on my eyes, whereas this one is still like soft and fluid and creamy and just wonderful. So the formula of this one for this particular color is still going strong, and I know I've gotten these a long time ago, but I'm still really enjoying this. And I actually thought it looked really pretty whenever I would just do it like just a little bit on the outer portion of my lower lash line and not do it all the way in, because I haven't been liking that look. I feel like that closes off my eyes too much, but it definitely looked really pretty, kind of like smudged on just the outer part of my lash line. The miscellaneous eyeshadow product that I have was the e.l.f. Smudge Pot, and I thought that this would be so pretty. It's in the color Brownie Points. I don't think they sell this anymore either, but unfortunately this one did kind of dry up a little bit. It was still kind of usable, but this one's definitely on its way out. I feel like maybe I can kind of revive it if I get like the, what's that product? I think it's called like Duraline or something like that. You can kind of like put that into like some dried up kind of products and it will kind of like re-wet it. So I'm kind of like wanting to hang on to this because there's a lot of product in here, and it's actually so pretty. It's kind of like this really bronzy copper kind of cream shadow, and I really wish I didn't sleep on this because it was so pretty. So I might hang on to it for that, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of get to use it a little bit more. I only got to use it about one time this week because it really was just kind of a little bit too dry to get any use out of it. Next up for my lip products, so for my lip liner, I got this lip liner from Missho Beauty. I think I got this maybe in my very last BoxyCharm box, and this one is in the color Worthy. This was a really good formula. I liked this one a lot, just kind of a typical My Lips kind of color. I thought it worked pretty well, and I really like this one. It glided on nicely and was really like creamy and smooth. So yeah, I definitely like that one. And for my lipstick, it actually worked really pretty with this Merit lipstick. Now this one was also sent to me for review like maybe a year or two ago. So this one was sent to me, and this one is actually in the color Millennial Pink. Once again, just like the type of lipstick colors that I like. This kind of like pinky brownie nude kind of color is definitely what I feel most comfortable in. And I really loved the formula of this one. It was just a really great lipstick, and like I said, worked great with that liner. And then for my lip gloss, I absolutely loved this one. This is the I Heart Revolution lip gloss in the color Salted Caramel. This is like one of my all-time favorite ones of this one. Once again, that brownie pinky nude kind of color worked great with those, and I love the scent of it. The only thing I hate is the packaging of this. Like the cap does not like stay on very well, so I kind of have to like maybe re-glue this. But I love the texture of this because the formula is like not sticky at all, and it's very pigmented and it's very comfortable on the lips as well. So absolutely love this lip gloss. And then finally, the product for my setting spray. Now this is another one of those cases where like I liked this setting spray, but then I ran out of it, and then I had a different setting spray that I didn't like the packaging of it, so I put it in here, but then it didn't work the same in here. Like this one had a really good, like nice fine spray, but whenever I put whatever the hell else I put in here, which I can't remember what it was, I guess it's like slightly thicker because it will not spray out of here nicely, and the actual like spray, when I push down to spray, it gets stuck and it doesn't come back up, and I have to like physically pull it up again every single time I spray. So it's like spray, stop and pull it up, spray, stop and pull it up, spray, stop and pull it up. So it was actually quite annoying, and I hate that. It was originally the NYX Dewy Finish one, which I remember I loved, but I cannot for the life of me remember what's in here, but I kind of hate that I did that because now these just don't work well together. Okay, so those are all of the products from week 1 of February. All right, and really quickly, we are gonna move on to week 2. Now, this is actually the week that I'm in right now, so the items I am wearing on my face right now are from this set of items. So here is a quick sneak peek. Whoops, here is a quick sneak peek of all the items that I used for this week. Now I didn't write notes on these, but I have been using them for this week, so these all should be pretty fresh on my mind. So first up for the primer, once again, we have another one of those kind of like serum-y primers. I guess I just really went through a phase with these at some point. This is from Hard Candy, and this was the Starlet Glow Strawberry Face Serum, and it was like with their Marilyn Monroe collection. Now this one is also one that is like a dropper bottle, but it's actually kind of cool because like it has like a little button here. This one definitely, the product does work, but it is a little on the thicker side, but I don't know, I guess it works, and it does look really, really cute as far as the packaging goes. But this one is another one of those serum primers. This one doesn't really have like any shimmer or anything to it, but it did have like a very slight kind of strawberry scent to it, which was quite nice. Once again, I liked it and I'll use it up, but not something that I would repurchase. All right, then for my foundation for this week, I did another BB cream. This was the Missha Perfect Cover BB cream. This one is number 13. This one is like a near perfect color match for my skin tone, especially in the winter time. Not that like my skin tone changes that much from season to season because I just am as pale as a ghost, but I definitely really like this one, especially for the winter time, because this one has a little bit more of like a neutral pinky kind of undertone to it, and it is not yellow at all, which is amazing. And I really love the coverage of this one. It's like a light to medium coverage, very buildable as well, and I just have loved this for so long, and it's a wonderful BB cream. For my concealer, I use this one from Sheglam, and this one is in the color Cotton Candy. I actually kind of liked this one. I thought it was a really nice color for me. I have been trying to like not get too light of concealers lately because I found that they just really kind of, I feel like, age me, and I'm trying to like not do that as much anymore. So this one I actually think worked pretty well for my under eyes, and it's definitely a bit more of like a medium coverage kind of concealer, so I definitely liked this one, and I will be happy when this one comes back in my rotation. And I remember this one being like super affordable, like maybe like under $5, so definitely a really good one right now in my collection. For my powder this week, I have been using one of the Becca powders. This was, I think, another one like little birthday gift from Sephora that I've just been hanging on to, and this one is the Hydra Mist Set and Refresh powder. This is the one that I loved before, and I had the large jar of it, but I put something else into it. But this is the actual powder, and I love this one. And even the mini jar of this one has like the really amazing packaging where it has like that little mesh screen right here, and so it's just so easy to get the product out, and I really love this. So even when I do finish this up, I'm going to keep this little mini powder container to put like my other powders in, because this is like a really good like travel kind of compact for that. So I definitely really like that one. Once again, rest in peace, Becca. So next up for my bronzer, I actually used the e.l.f. Putty bronzer, and I don't even know the color name of this one. I think it rubbed off. No, it's called Feeling Shady. Now this one I really liked it when I first got it, but the more I have used it, I'm like, I don't know if I really love it. This one I feel like is, the one thing I don't like is that the typical brush I like to use for like cream contours or bronzers is this brush right here. This one is completely washed off, so I don't know what the name of it was. It was a Luxie brush, and it was like an angled contour, maybe? I'm sorry, it has rubbed off, but I really love this one because the shape of it is perfect for like getting into the hollows of my cheekbones. But I feel like this brush is there's barely enough room to like dip it into here, and you have to like dip down into it. So I just feel like I don't love the packaging of this one too much. I would like it more if it was in a wider, shallower compact, because I also don't like sticking my fingers into things like this, and I don't like to have something separate to like dig into the product. So that was really kind of just like a packaging thing. Like I wish it was just a little bit wider so it could get my brush into here a little bit better. But as far as the product itself goes, I think it's a really good color for like a cool toned kind of contour color. I think it's funny that they call this like a bronzer, because I would definitely call this more of like a contour color rather than a bronzer. It was a little bit more on the lighter pigmentation, I would say. Like it kind of gave me more of like a light to medium kind of coverage. But overall, I did still like this one, but I'm just not as sold because it is hard for me to get my brush into there, which is a little bit annoying. And I feel like the sunlight is just like going really crazy right now, so the lighting is just like shifting like crazy. For my blush, I used the Sheglam Clear and Bright Liquid Blush in the color Orgasm. And this one I actually really like because once again, it's that peachier warm kind of pink color. I think it looks quite nice on my skin. I did kind of like do a really light application of it today, and then I like kind of touched up my concealer a little bit, so I think it kind of blanked it out a little bit more and you're not seeing it quite as much as how I had it applied. But I do really like these. They're a little bit more of like a liquidy, serum-y kind of blush almost, but I really like these, and they're pretty pigmented and you can definitely build these up as well. For my highlighter, I did another Becca product, and this is one of the shimmering, what do they call these, shimmering Skin Perfector Spotlight in the color Champagne Pop. It's kind of like just like a liquid highlighter, so I was using this one. I like this one. I feel like this color in the powder, I like it a lot more on my skin tone than the liquid version, because I feel like it's almost really subtle on my skin because it is kind of like a similar tone. It is really pretty though, but I never loved these as much as I liked their powder highlighters. But I definitely will be using this one up. I think it will just kind of take me a while to use it up though, because it's a little bit more on like the lotiony kind of side rather than like a super intense kind of shimmery highlighter kind of look. But I do still like it, but I think it's gonna last me quite a while, honestly. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually my original plan for the blush was to use this LA Colors Cream Gel Blush. I had gotten this like at the Dollar Tree or something, and it was in the color Mesmerizing, and I remember the blush being like the color of the packaging here, but whenever I opened this up to use it the first day and I saw like the color that this has changed, I don't know if you can tell, it has changed like into a foundation color. Like it's yellow, like this is like ochre yellow, and I remember it being a peach color, and so something that has like drastically changed color that much, I'm like, nope. So that honestly could not work as a blush color anymore, and it kind of freaks me out that it changed that color that much. Like maybe you can see the color of that a little bit better. It used to be like this pink kind of color, and it is no longer. So that is unfortunately a product I think I'm just going to have to get rid of. Like I said, I have a lot of leeway with old products, and this isn't even like one of the oldest products that I have in my collection by far, and it has already changed color that noticeably. So that is a case that I'm like, you know what? We're gonna have to just let that product go. So that was why I had to make the substitution for this product. For my eye primer, once again, we have already come back around. This is the V Cosmetic eyeshadow primer. I talked about this one in my January one. I didn't love this one, but I don't have very many eyeshadow primers, so we're gonna just be cycling through these quite a bit now, because I probably will be using this at least once a month now. Oh, for brows, I got this from a BoxyCharm really early on, so I've had this one for several years now, and this was the Cella Tantalizing Taupe Eyebrow Cream, and it's like this little product like this. When you open it up, there is a little brush in here. It's like a little angled eyebrow brush, and then on the back side here you can untwist that, and then there is cream in here. Now the problem with this is it is way too dark for my brows, and it's in like a taupe color, but let me like get some of this out. It is like really a dark kind of color. Like it's like if you had like almost black hair, this is the color I would recommend for people to use for their brows to fill them in, but this is just way too dark for me. So I did kind of have to struggle with this week, and I just did like the tiniest bit that I could. So you might notice my brows are a little bit on the darker side this week, but I I had to make it work. It just wasn't ideal. I did appreciate though that it is very neutral and it's not too warm tone, because I really hate like having like yellowy warm orange brows. So it definitely gave me more of like a cool brown kind of tone, but it is a little bit darker than what I would typically go for. So next up, for my eyeshadow palette, you guys, I have to say this is another product that I had in my collection. I randomly bought this from like a BoxyCharm sale and I thought it was just kind of cute. It is the Ciate London Jessica Rabbit palette, and I bought it and then like I never used it, and so I decided, hey, that would be a great one to pick out for this week because you've never used it. And so this is what it looks like on the inside. It has a really nice big mirror in here, and then it has 9 shadows here. There's like a gold column, a purple column, and then like a red copper column. Now I have to say this is probably the worst eyeshadow formula I have ever tried, and I absolutely struggled using these eyeshadows this week, and honestly it made me like not want to wear eyeshadows because I hated these so much. So there's only 3 matte colors down here, and they are all like super light toned mattes, and I'm the type of person that I do not like putting shimmer shadows in my crease, but there were no like colors dark enough that were matte to make it work. So I ended up using this purple row today, and I did this in the crease to start it off. That was called Tune Kisses. Then I used this dark shimmer purple here. This one's called Oh Roger, and I blended that into the crease, and I basically just blended and blended and blended and blended and blended until all the shimmer particles were kind of like dispersed and gone, and it kind of gave the effect of like a really muddy over blended shadow, but it kind of gave the look of like a matte shadow. And I have to say I hated these so much. They are crumbly and they are like not very good at all. Like I think probably like swatching this, I don't even know if this will like come across like how much I hate this. That was like the darkest purple. This one was like the middle purple, which was kind of pretty. I did do that on the lid, but it just really wasn't like that much base color to it. And then the shadows are just so like crumbly, like they just were not giving me like what I was wanting. And then I feel like if you try to use your finger to like apply them, they would apply okay, but then it would leave the pans like very, what's the word, hard pan kind of. That copper shade is like probably the best one in the entire palette, but I just hated using these so much. Yeah, those 2 like reds are like the only redeeming colors in the palette. The purples sucked in my opinion, and I tried to give it all like the best go I could, but like I said, I have recently realized that I do not quite like the red tones on my eyes very much. Like every once in a while I can do like a bronzy copper, but like I don't like the reds. And it really was just kind of like purples or reds or just kind of nothings with these. So this was just really a letdown of a palette, and I'm really kind of like bummed that I wasted my money on it. And I don't know if you can tell, but the actual packaging here, this is like a little like plastic tray stuck in here. It's like not even a real eyeshadow palette, and I can like pop these out. So I think I might do that because these shadows are honestly like crap, and I might just like keep the palette for like something cute. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is how crappy it is. It's like a little plastic tray that the shadows just kind of like sit in, and it's like these shadows are not even like worth saving, honestly. I might like depot these, but honestly, like look how easily it's just so cheap. And I don't think I've ever tried like Ciate London before, like their eyeshadow palettes or anything, but honestly I was so let down. And there's like honestly just like double-sided sticky tape down here, so I think I might like clean this out and maybe turn it into like a magnetic palette, because I still think like the palette's kind of cute, but it's just not it for me. And I really struggled with the eyeshadow looks this week from these like really crappy shadows. So I would absolutely not recommend this palette at all, and I don't think I would recommend Ciate London's eyeshadows either, because that formula was so crumbly and not very pigmented. I just did not enjoy it at all. And those purples are actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today, but I didn't really like how the purple turned out, so I actually used my like random eyeshadow pick. This is the Missha Eye Painting Shadow. I can't remember the color of this one, but I did one of the bronzy ones the last couple of weeks, and I love that one, so I brought this one out. It's a little bit more of like a shimmery champagne kind of eyeshadow color, but I put it over the purple, so now I've kind of got this like weird kind of like purpley gold kind of thing, but it was better than the purple, so I will definitely live with this one. But I did like this one, and it did kind of like fix the look as far as for what it was. But I definitely think this looks a lot prettier on its own. It's like a little champagne kind of wash of shimmer. And then for my eyeliner, I have this Sheglam two-sided eyeliner. It has a stamp for the wing, and then it has a felt tip on the other side. So I did do like the wing with a stamp, and I have to say I just don't like how it turns out. I feel like it doesn't give me a very clean wing, and then I have to like go back and like kind of line over it again anyway, and then I can't ever get the angles quite right. And I have been doing winged eyeliner for so long, I'm better at doing it on my own by now, so I definitely don't think I liked this one very much. It wasn't very expensive at all, but if you do have trouble with wings, maybe try something like this where it's like a little stamp on one side. I just feel like I haven't been able to like really get it down, and I'm just better at doing winged eyeliner on my own. And here is the eyeliner I was telling you about. This was another one of the Ulta gel liners, and this one is in the color Storm. It's a really pretty like purple kind of color. However, this one, something about the purple, this one is a lot more dried up than that copper one that I was talking about. Like that one was still like smooth, glided on like butter, like it's brand new, but this one is definitely like really dry and didn't really come across very well. I kind of feel like it's smudged all over on my lower lash line, and not in a cute way. So I definitely don't really love this particular one, and I feel like it's because it is a purple one. I feel like something with like purple like pigments just don't work out very well, especially with those purple shadows. So this one I didn't quite like. I don't know if I'll keep this in my collection or not, because it was a little bit hard to use with it being more dried up, and I sharpened it and everything, and it was still just not that usable on my delicate eye area. All right, and then moving on to my lips. For my lip liner, I use the Cosmic Cowgirl lip liner from AOA Studio. I really liked this one. It's in the color Starbase, and it has the lip liner on this side, once again, kind of like a peachy nudie kind of color. Really liked it. It was very creamy, very easy to glide on. I do feel like it almost might be a little bit too creamy because it does kind of slide around a bit, but then there is also a little lip brush on the side that you can use to blend it out, so I always kind of like that. Then for my lipstick, I used this e.l.f. lipstick in the color Cream, and this one is the, I can't remember what they called this line. It kind of looks really cheap in my opinion, like the all clear plastic, but as far as the lipstick goes, I actually quite like this one, and this is the one that reminds me a lot of the Michaela e.l.f. lipstick dupe. It's a very similar color, so if you missed that one, and if they still sell this one in the color Cream, those are the ones that are very similar. Oh, Seriously Satin. I don't think it's like my favorite like lipstick formula ever, but it gets the job done, and I think it's relatively like cute and definitely affordable. Then for my lip gloss, I broke out an oldie but a goodie. This is the NYX Mega Shine lip gloss. I don't know if they still sell this or not. This one's in the color Baby Rose. I have definitely gone through like several of these before. This is one of my all-time favorite lip glosses way back when. It's kind of one of those lip glosses that is so light, it doesn't really give you much color, but it does have a little bit of like this baby pink like sparkle sheen to it. So I definitely enjoyed like wearing this one, and it smells like sweet tarts, and I love it. And I know I've had this one forever, but honestly I still love it. So that was my lip products for the week. And then finally for my setting spray, I use the e.l.f. Illuminating Mist and Set. This is an oldie but a goodie. I've definitely gone through several of these before in the past. This one is about, I'd say maybe about a quarter of the way left, so I will definitely be putting this back into the rotation, and this is probably one of my most favorite setting sprays as far as like more inexpensive one goes, so I definitely really like that one. So moving on to week 3 of February Shop My Stash. The first product I have for my primer, this is a mini sample of the Tatcha The Dewy Skin Cream, and I use this as my primer for the week. And this, I have to say, it kind of surprisingly has a little bit more of like a greasier feeling, so I feel like maybe this might be something that's more supposed to be like a night skincare type of product rather than like a primer. I just found for me, I didn't love it as a primer, but it felt nice on the skin. It does have a little bit of like a lavender kind of scent to it as well, but overall I thought it was all right. And I know a lot of people have like raved about this, but I just didn't think there was anything like that truly amazing about it. So I'll definitely continue to use it throughout my rotations, but it's definitely nothing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have that product in my life. For my foundation, this one, I actually think this was like the first time I used this foundation was for this week. And this is from Believe Beauty, and it's called the Skin Finish Foundation, medium to full coverage. And mine was in the color Porcelain. I actually feel like this was a really good color match for me. And I really like this one as well. I found it to be a little bit more towards like the medium rather than like full coverage, but I also have recently been trying to use like less foundation, like try to use as little foundation as I can get away with, but still get the look that I like, because I just feel like I have been conditioned from like YouTube and TikTok and everything that like you have to put on a lot of foundation, and I have found that it has never given me like a good result. Like it looks cracky and cakey and like gross, and it breaks apart. And so I've recently been trying to use just a little bit of foundation, and I've honestly really did like this one. I felt like that worked really well for my skin, so that's definitely something I'm trying to like work on, is not over applying foundation. And then I also applied this with a brush all week. I don't think I used it with a sponge, so I don't know how I would like it with that. So maybe when this one comes back in my rotation, I will try to remember to use like a sponge. I kind of go into like phases where like I'm only using a beauty sponge, and then I'm like only using face brushes. So I just kind of go in and out and just go into like a cycle with that. But I did really like that one a lot, and I think I got this at like Dollar General maybe, and I feel like it was relatively reasonably priced. I can't remember how much I paid for it. If I had to guess, I would say I think it was like under $8, which I think is pretty good these days because drugstore foundations just are expensive now. So then for my concealer, this one is the Etude House Big Cover Concealer BB, and this one I have had for a long time. It's actually, I think, more of like a, I don't know if this is actually supposed to be used as a foundation, but it says concealer, but it's got one of those massive doe foots, and I really liked this one a lot. It was one of my like all-time favorite, like forever ago kind of products, and I definitely want to like keep using it and use it up, but I definitely did like this one. I felt like it's definitely more like a foundation rather than a concealer because it does have a little bit of a thinner texture to it, but overall I did still really like that one, and it was fun to break that one out again. Then for my powder, this is a newer product. I think I got this one in like one of my last few Boxy Charms last year. This is the Girlactic Luminous Face Powder in the color Fair, and this is what it looked like. And it does have like a very slight kind of sheen to it, but it really doesn't like look like it on the skin at all. But one thing I did notice, I really just kind of use this to like set my under eye concealer and stuff, and I remember like one day I was just like packing it on, just like kind of doing my thing, and then I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, that powder looks really dark on me. Even though it doesn't look super dark in the pan, it did kind of come off just slightly darker when I was like packing it on like that with the with these little finger sponges that I love from Flower Nose. I definitely think I like this one a little bit more like dusted all over my face for like a soft little bit of setting coverage, but like as far as like putting it under my eyes, I feel like it was just a little bit too dark for that. So I'll definitely have to remember that in the future. For my bronzer slash contour product, I use the Sheglam Sun Sculpt Liquid Bronzer. Mine is in the color Soft Tan. This one truly is like a contour color. Like it is so cool tone gray, and it was perfect for my skin tone because it really did kind of like mimic a shadow when I would do like the contour on my cheekbones and stuff, and I loved it. It was very pigmented, very easy to blend out, and the applicator like worked really, really well. And then I would just use like my favorite kind of brush like this to actually like blend out the product, and I really, really like this. For some reason in my mind I thought these were a little bit sheerer, but whenever I was using it, it's definitely got some pigmentation to it, so definitely a really, really good one. I like this one a lot. Then for my blush, I went with another Sheglam product. This is one of these Sunday Picnic, what do they call these? Cheeky Color Jam, and mine is in the color Afternoon Peach, and it looks like this. And this one's just kind of like one of those like whipped moussey kind of blush products. It's very, very pigmented. Like you can get it super, super red if that's the kind of color you want to go for. It also kind of has a little bit of like like that cream to powder type of feeling, but very soft, very moussey, very pigmented, and I really liked this one as well. Once again, you guys know I've been really going for the warmer cheek products, and honestly, I just thought this was a really good one, and I really didn't get to play with it very much. I'm surprised I haven't used it more. Next up for my highlighter, I had the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand in the highlight color. This one's in Champagne. I got this one whenever I got like the blush and the contour stick, or the contour one, and I remember liking those two, but then I just never really used the highlighter very much. I do like this one. I think it's quite pretty, and it does have a really nice kind of like champagne kind of color tone to it, so it does look really nice on my skin tone. It doesn't look too stark, so I definitely did like this one. I don't think there's really anything like that crazy unique about it, but I did like it, and I definitely will continue to use this one in my rotations. For my brows, I can't remember if I've already talked about this one or not. Like, it's already, like, I've been using so many products, I can't remember what's already been used. So we have this like little mystery eyebrow pencil. It's like a little cream brow. There's literally like the tiniest bit left. I don't remember where this is from. I feel like it was either like an old Maybelline or like an old NYC kind of thing, or maybe like a Physicians Formula. I have no clue, but I'm so close to using this up. I kind of just want to like keep using this just so I can like, you know, finish up a product. I did like this one. I felt like the creaminess of it to like pigmentation wise was like perfect as far as formula goes. However, the color is just like not that great for me. It's a little bit too on the warm tone, kind of orangier side for me, which doesn't really work with my blonde hair, but I'm really trying to use this one up. So maybe maybe in the next couple weeks, once we rotate some more products, maybe we'll get to come back to this one soon. For my eyeshadow primer, this one I broke out was the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the color Sin. Once again, I can't remember if I've already used this or not. Everything is just like swirling around in my brain as far as like all these products. I did like this one, but I never have the foresight to like use a shimmery primer. This one kind of has like a champagne tint to it, which actually worked pretty well with my palette of the week, so I'll bring that out in just a minute. But overall, I definitely like the original Urban Decay Primer Potion more than like the shimmery ones, just because if I wanted to do like an all matte look and this was all I had, you know, it would definitely give a little bit of like shine to the look. But overall, I did quite like this one, and I'm really surprised at like, number one, how old this is and the fact that it still works, so that's great. So for my palette, this was like an old one that I don't even remember like the hype around this palette or anything when it came out, but I think I got it at like a TJ Maxx or something. I was like, yeah, I'll go for that. And this was the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals Morphe palette. She did so many palettes with Morphe, but this one is really pretty. Now, some people might say that is such a boring palette, which I will concede, I guess, but these are just like my kind of colors. Like, I really like this palette. There are a ton of matte shades and then a ton of shimmer shades in different tones. I really appreciate the like colors in here. The only two colors I kind of feel like just in the pan look kind of similar are like these two right here. I feel like we probably didn't need both of those, but I mean, I really liked this palette a lot, and I just kind of wanted like a me palette for this week because I had just come off of using another palette that I didn't really love, and I was like, okay, I just want something that I really think I'm gonna like. So I picked this one, and it was like the first time me using this palette, and I really liked it. I didn't even get to use as many of these like darker shimmers here, so I'm really excited for this one to come back around, but I definitely liked that one a lot. Once again, mascaras are the same. I am starting to get towards like the end, especially of the primer, but those are what I've been using. Then for my liquid liner, I have been using the Bella Pierre Cosmetics liquid eyeliner. I don't know where I got this. I don't know if it came in like a BoxyCharm or a subscription box, or did I buy this? I have no clue. But this one is their just like liquid black eyeliner. And this one, I really didn't like it because, number one, like the tip of it, it's just like one of those like sponge tip kind of like liquid liners. And then what I really didn't like was like the removal process of it. It's kind of one of those like, it doesn't just like fade away when you use a makeup wipe. It kind of like crumbles and like turns into like these little latexy stringy kind of pilling like strings on my face, so I don't really like this one at all. And I'm trying to figure out like, okay, am I gonna power through this? Because I mean, stuff like this eyeliner wise lasts me a really long time, so I'm gonna have to decide whether this is something I just want to cut my loss on, or try to like use it for something, or just like tough it out. I don't know yet, but I really didn't like this one. Then for my pencil liner, I broke out one of the Sheglam Love to Roam gel eye pencils. This one is in the color Dirt Road, and it's just like this really dark chocolatey brown. This one is such a pretty good one. It's so inexpensive. I love the formula of it. It's so smooth and creamy. It doesn't like tug at your eyes. I liked using this kind of like on the outer portion of my lower lash line only, kind of like smudged into the lash line, but then I didn't like put it in the waterline, and I didn't like bring it all the way in because I find that just kind of closes off my eyes a little bit too much. But I have been playing with like just putting on the outer portion there, and I actually thought it looked really good, and it worked so well with the palette of this week, so I definitely loved this one. For my like miscellaneous eye product, I chose this Etude House little dual-ended cream shadow kind of thing. So there is a matte side and a glitter side. The glitter side was really pretty, but unfortunately it just kind of like dried up and really wasn't usable, so I pretty much just have to like count this side as like a lost product because number one, there wasn't really a lot of product in here anyway. It's like a super like skinny kind of like package, so it just didn't have a chance, and it dried out really bad. But the matte side was actually still really good. Once again, that really skinny brush, but this one just kind of was like a kind of a gray toned chocolatey cream matte shadow, and I thought it looked really pretty whenever I would use it with the palette. I would kind of like blend it in and start it as like a crease and then kind of deepen it up with some of the other powders. But it actually worked quite well, and I really liked it. So I do want to make an effort to come back around to this one and try to like at least get some use out of the matte side, because I definitely used to not like cream liquid shadows or like matte liquid shadows, but I've definitely come around on it, and so I definitely want to give this one a little bit more love. Right, moving on to my lip combo for the week. So for my lip liner, I went for the AOA Cosmic Girl lip liner, I guess is what they call it, and it's in the color Open Range, so it's a little bit more of like a brownie kind of color. Yeah, it's pretty brownie, I would say, like a pinky brown. I really liked the color of this, and then on the other side there's also this little brush, so you can kind of like blend out the edges if you want. I don't really use that, but I like that it's there. So I really like the color of this one. The only thing is I feel like the formula of it was just a little bit too slip slidey. Like you would put it on and it would glide on really well, but it also would glide off really easily too. So I kind of wish it just had a little bit more of like staying power to it to like keep it on the lips. However, it was, you know, like $1 or $2, so I'm not gonna be too hard on it, but I definitely did like this one. I just feel like the formula, I wish it stayed around a little bit longer. Not the best for like lasting power. Then for my lipstick, this one, I kind of actually forgot I had this lipstick. So really quickly, this is a custom lipstick that I made with the company Finding Ferdinand. You can like go on, create any lipstick you want. I think that it's still around. I made this like honestly a few years ago, and I remember it being like a little bit more expensive. I feel like it was probably like maybe $30 to make a custom lipstick, which I kind of just wanted to do it just for fun. But the packaging's really cool, so you just press on it like that and it comes out like that. And then this is the color I created. Now you might be thinking, that is the most like ununique color you could ever create. Why did you spend $30 to create that custom color? And I totally agree, but I do have to say I love this color, and it's really fun because you get to name it whatever you want because it's your own color. So my boyfriend and I, we have like little nicknames for each other, and we call each other Baber. Like, not Babe, Baber. Somehow that like evolved into like I'm Baberina and he's Baberino, and so I called this one Baberina's Kiss, and I thought it was just really cute. So I actually forgot I had this lipstick, and I really want to break it out again. I mean, honestly, it's not that unique of a color, but I love it. And I remember I also like paid like an additional $5 because you could like add scents to it, and I think they had like a Lucky Charms kind of scent. I don't really think it smells like Lucky Charms. It does have like a little bit of a sweetie kind of smell, but either way, I totally had to like break that one out for this week because it's my own lipstick. It's my custom lipstick. I had to use it. And then with that, I went with the Revolution lip gloss in the color Coconut. I really love this lip gloss brand, and I really love this color too. It had just a little bit more of like that milky pink kind of color, so it definitely made it just a little bit more on the cool tone side, which I thought was really pretty. But overall, I thought it was a really great one to pair with the lip liner and the lipstick. And finally, the last product for this week was the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. And I really like this one. However, they are not lying when they say micro mist. This is probably like the finest mister I have ever had on a a setting spray, but it was almost a little bit too fine because I had to spray my face like 20 times to like feel like I got enough product on my face. So I definitely liked that, but it was almost like a little too fine. But I also like the smell of it. I kind of feel like it had a little bit of like a fresh cucumbery aloe-y kind of smell or something like that. So I definitely like this one more than some of the last ones that I have used over the last couple weeks, but this one's definitely a good one, and I think I got it as like a maybe like a free gift with purchase or something. So that is everything for the 3rd week of February. And now I'm gonna move on to the, I guess the 4th week of February. And this is a quick little sneak peek of the products. And these are actually what I'm wearing on my face today. So I will have a few little clips kind of showing you guys applications of me applying these products. But once again, I'm gonna try to like get through this. And I'm actually not through with this week yet. So I still have like 3 more days to use all these products, but I just kind of got this like midweek snow day off from work, so I definitely had to take advantage of trying to film as many things as I can. So I definitely still have a few more days to use these products, but I've definitely got some opinions on these. So really quickly, the first one is the primer that I've been using this week. This is one of my all-time favorite primers. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip primer. I typically use this more in like the spring summer time, especially when it's like really hot and humid. So I love this one though. It is a sticky primer, really helps the foundation like stick to your face. So definitely really like this one. I have a little baby one here, so I'm also really big about trying to use up like little things in my collection because I'll use them up quicker. So this one, I've definitely got like several weeks left on this one, but it will have to wait till we get back to the rotation. Then for my foundation, I have not used this in so long. This is the Peri Para Ink Cover Foundation, and this one is in the color number 1. This one, I made a really big mistake when I was using it the first day. I was like squeezing it out, and this is so much like thinner than I remembered, and I put way too much on my hand. But I actually quite like this one. I think it is just a little bit on the yellow side, but once again, applying it more thinly to my skin though, it actually looks quite nice on the skin. And this one does have a little bit more of like that velvety kind of finish, I would say, to the skin. It's not like super dewy or anything, not super matte, but it does have that like soft kind of like peach fuzz kind of like texture to it. So I do kind of like this one, especially if I do want to go a little bit more glowy with other products. It's a nice balance of that. Then for my concealer, I have been using the AOA Studio Liquid Concealer. This one's in the color Porcelain, and this one I didn't really have any strong opinions on it. I thought it looks okay. I thought it worked just fine, but nothing that crazy. I think I also got this from Shop Miss A for like $1 or $2. I would say for the price, I definitely think it's a good concealer, but I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, is it like die hard must have? Not really, but I thought it was fine. For my powder, once again, I feel like we might have already shown this. I can't remember. This is the Hard Candy Blurring and Pore Refining Loose Finish Powder. So I have come back around on this one. I am using this one. I feel like it's just a little bit dark on me, but overall it gets the job done just fine. It does have like a little bit of like a light skin tint kind of color to it, so I like that it's not like kind of ashy or white or anything like that. I did not realize I picked so many like AOA Studio products this week. It was just kind of like a little random thing. But for my contour, I am using the AOA Studio Sculpt Fix Contour Stick. Mine's in the color Nude. I really actually liked this. I remember like using it and I didn't like love it, but coming back around to it, I thought it worked pretty well. Once again, super inexpensive, really nice kind of like gray, cool toned kind of color. So I used this today to kind of like contour my cheekbones a little bit, and I thought it worked really well. It does have a little bit more of like that waxier feeling, but once you kind of like warm it up against the skin, it glides on pretty easily. Then for my blush, I went for this Trace Stick like blush pencil or blush stick, and this one is in the color Moroccan Rose. This one, I don't know. This one I feel like I wish it was more pigmented. I kind of feel like when you're like putting it on, it's just not like as pigmented as I would have wished, because especially when you start to blend it out, it just gives you like a very subtle kind of look to the skin. And then like it kind of has a little bit more of like a waxy creamy kind of feel, so like when you start to blend it out, it really kind of does start to disappear just a little bit. So I wish there was a little bit more pigmentation to this, but color wise I thought it worked out pretty well. And I feel like for like a really subtle kind of like blush look, you might like this if you have fair skin, but I mean if you're any darker than me, this would not show up on you at all. For my highlighter this week, this is such an old product. This is from e.l.f. and it's called the Radiance Enhancer, and it was one of those like cream highlighters. This one's in the color Spotlight, and it has like that little like lip brush applicator kind. This I kind of feel like it's a little on, well, definitely on the older side, and so it's not as like creamy as I feel like it used to be. It's a little bit more on the thick pasty side, but it did have this pretty kind of like slightly lilac-y kind of color to it, which I think used to be really pretty, but I just feel like the texture of it being like a little bit on the thicker side, whenever I would like tap it onto my cheekbones, I kind of feel like it would kind of disrupt the foundation underneath, which I don't love. So I'm definitely gonna figure out an alternative use for that. I think I might mix it with like a moisturizer and kind of do it as like an all over illuminating primer sometime for when it comes back around. But for a liquid highlighter, didn't love it for that. It was just a little too subtle for me, and yeah, I wouldn't use it that way again. All right, next up for brows, another AOA Studio product. This was their Easy Brow Styler in the color Taupe. This one I really liked because it has like this little brush on the side. It kind of looks like a little teeny tiny toothbrush for your eyebrows, and I really like that. And then on this side it has like one of those like wedge shaped eyebrow pencils. So this one I find is really good for like just all over filling in your brow. If you like the super like fine brush hair stroke kind of ones, this isn't the one for you. Color wise, I actually think this one works pretty well. It's got like a tiny bit of warmth to it, so it doesn't just look like a flat gray, but then it's not like so warm that it makes my brows orangey or anything. So I definitely like this one. I do wish this one was just slightly more creamy. It's a little bit more on the harder, waxier side, but in the end, I think it definitely still works. And obviously for the price of like $1 or $2, I really like this one. All right, next up for the eyeshadow primer, we have come back around to the Etude Proof 10 Eye Primer. Once again, I didn't love this one, but it's what I got, so it's what I'm using. Then for the palette, I kind of already had one picked at the beginning of the week before I started doing my makeup, and I'm like, you know what? I really just don't love this palette. I want to swap it with something else before I get started. So I swapped one out, and I went through all my palettes, and I found this one. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never used this one. How have I not used it? This is the Morphe Coca-Cola 1971 Unity collection, and so this one is a bigger palette. I also wanted something bigger because I just wanted to have more options for this week. So I really like the colors of this one because there's a lot of mattes mixed in here, a lot of neutral colors, and then there's also some colors and shimmers on this side. I'm really dying to use this one. I haven't gotten a chance to use it yet. It's kind of like this blue purple shifty color. I really want to use that one, but so far I've been loving this palette. I think it's really good. I know a lot of people like don't like Morphe, but honestly I like this palette a lot, and I think it's really pretty. So I've been having a lot of fun with this palette, and I can't wait to do a few more exciting looks with it. I did go pretty simple basic for me today, so I did a bit of like a goldy brown kind of look because I wanted to use this other product to show it off to you guys, but I definitely want to do a little bit more fun colorful looks throughout the week as well. So I also picked for my wild card eye product is the Too Faced glitter shadow. This one is in the color Sweet Spot, and it is a gold shimmery cream liquid eyeshadow. So I just topped that on top of the gold shadow from the palette, and I really like how this one looks, and I feel like it's a good subtle gold kind of like glitter eyeshadow. If you don't want something crazy over the top, this one's definitely like you can take it a little bit more subtle, I will say, but if you want to make it more crazy intense, I think you can definitely do that too. So that is how I worked it into my look today. Then for my liquid liner, this is a new one. This was actually the first time I used it today, and this is the Ofra Verified Liquid Liner. I got this in one of my last BoxyCharms or something. Yeah, I think it was my last BoxyCharm. So this was my first time using it today. I really like it. It's like a pen style, kind of like calligraphy pen style liquid liner. I feel like it worked really well. I'm not super picky on those, but I thought it was a really good one and I like it. So I'm excited to have that one in my collection. And then once again for my eyeliner, I picked another color from the Sheglam Live to Roam. This one is in the color Map Out, and it's like the perfect like creamy nude kind of color for me for the waterline. So I just applied that all into my waterline. I feel like it just gives my eyes a little bit more of like a brightened awake look. So that was my eyeliner. And then onto my lip combos for this week. We have the NYX lip liner in the color Pale Pink. This one is kind of like a lavendery kind of mauve color. I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it is so close to like my lip color depth depth, but then make it a little bit cooler. That is like exactly what this looks like on my lips. It's not very noticeable on my lips. It's just like a cooler version. And then for my lipstick, this is an old lipstick, but I love it, honestly. It's the CoverGirl lipsticks. I can't remember what these were called, but this one is number 323 Delicious. And this one is more of like a mauve toned kind of lipstick, like a mauve pink, which I haven't done that in such a long time, but I really like how this color looks on my lips. Like, I'm wearing it right now, and honestly, I don't mind it. I used to have an obsession with lavender lipsticks, like trying to find like one that would flatter me, and all the ones I got just always would make my teeth look even more yellow, and this is probably like the closest I could get to like a pinky purpley toned lipstick without it being like insanely unflattering on me. So this one's probably my favorite as far as like all the purpley-ish kind of lipsticks I have. And finally, for my lip gloss, we have another one of the Revolution lip glosses. This one is, it just says I Heart Revolution Chocolate Lip Gloss. It doesn't have a color name on here. It kind of looks similar to the last one, but once again, it's a more like pinky, purpley toned one. The only thing is I feel like the stopper on this one takes off too much of the lip gloss. Kind of feel like it's a little bit hard to get a good amount of lip gloss on the brush here. Once again, I really like the formula, and this one does have like a chocolatey kind of scent to it. Right guys, so that is it for week 4 of February. Now, technically the way I like did the like week layouts, I should have done 5 weeks in January, but I didn't. So we're actually gonna have like a 5th week in February, but it's okay, don't worry. We've got one more section, so please hang tight for that. Alright, so we are back with the final week for February for the roundup. So here is a quick little sneak peek at all of the products for this week. Alright, so starting off, we have a face primer. Now this one is one I got from, I think, a BoxyCharm. And this one is called the Evio Beauty, and they call it the Perfect Primer. And it is a matte finish primer. I'm typically not a fan of matte finish type of primers because I have dry skin to begin with. So I kind of like something a little bit more dewy, a little bit more radiant, hydrating. But overall, I don't really have any strong opinions on this one. I will definitely try to like use it up and stuff because it did just kind of feel like a cream type of primer to me. But it definitely didn't have like the typical like silicone-y kind of feeling like I would have expected it with it being called the Perfect Primer. But overall, no strong thoughts on this one. So next for my foundation, I broke out this one. This is from Kosas, and it is the Tinted Face Oil. And this one is in the shade 3.5. Now, this one is like an oil kind of foundation. It's like a super pigmented type of foundation in an oil. So I like the texture of this on my skin because it does have that kind of like hydrating type of property to it. However, this one is definitely like a little bit too yellow for me and not quite my shade. So I did bring in 2 little like bonus products to use for this week. And that was my e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. This one's in the color Dusty Rose. And then I also used the LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment in the color Blue. If you guys saw one of my shorts that I did a couple weeks ago, I did like how to fix 2 yellow foundations, and these are the 2 products I like using to kind of color correct a product. So with this one being too yellow for me, I would add blue to kind of like color correct and cool it down, but then if you mix blue and yellow, you kind of get a little bit of a green cast. So I put a tiny bit of a pinky tone back in there to kind of make it more like a skin tone kind of color. So I definitely was using these this week to kind of help color correct this one just a little bit. But overall for like this product, I'm really surprised at how much I like this one. This is one I randomly got at like a BoxyCharm sale maybe forever ago, and I remember I used it the first time and I was like, it's okay, whatever. But then I never used it for like years, and then I broke it back out and I was actually pleasantly surprised by this one. I actually think this has a lot of coverage to it considering it is called like a tinted face oil, but this is a really good kind of like product if you just want to like rub it on with your fingers and kind of go type of product, granted that it is your right color. I actually quite like this one, and I don't know how much this goes for, but this one actually really surprised me, so I really kind of enjoyed that one, but I did have to color correct it a little bit. Next up for my concealer, I use the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer. This one is in the color C1. Overall, it did the job. I don't really think it was anything that special though, but I will definitely try to use it up, but nothing I think I would repurchase or anything. For my face powder this week, I was using the Beauty Credit It's called the Lovely Two-Way Cake Matte number 21 Nude Beige. This one, I actually quite like the packaging of it. Number one, the packaging of the outside's really cute. It's kind of got like this little rocking horse kind of detail. Just looks really like vintagey cute. And then I like that it has the little cover here that actually covers the powder, so it keeps that all nice and clean. And then I like that I can like throw a little sponge in there to use with this one. I like this powder a lot, but again, it's a little on the yellow side for me, so I just kind of like use it to set the under eye concealer and stuff like that, but overall it is just not quite my shade. But I will definitely be trying to use this one up. I have been using this one on and off for several years. All right, the next product I was using this week, this is a K-Beauty product from Peri Para, and this one's called the Nose Up Shading product. So technically what this is for is like contouring your nose, and it used to have a little sponge tip on it, but I had not used this product in a while, and when I broke this one back out to use, I was doing it to like do my contour so I could use it up, and the entire sponge tip like disintegrated off of the product here. So this is just like the little inner part of it that would typically be under the sponge, and then you just like press the little button and it like squeezes the product through there. I've just been using it like regular, like dotting it over my face to use up this product and then just like blending it with a brush, but I died laughing the first time I tried to use this, and the entire tip, sponge tip, just completely decayed off of it. So definitely really funny, but I actually really like this one for like the contour. I feel like it gives a really nice kind of like not too cool, not too warm type of color tone. So I definitely can't wait for this one to come back around, especially since I do kind of want to like finish it up. But I really did like this one. I thought it was really good. I don't even know if they still sell this anymore. This one is definitely kind of all beat up and everything, but I still liked it and I got the job done this week. All right, and then for my blush this week, I have been doing a lot of liquid contours, bronzers, blushes, and highlighters, and that's for a reason. And that's because I have a lot of the liquid products like that, and liquids go bad sooner than powders. So if you guys have been wondering like, why is she always using like a liquid blush or a cream blush, or why does she never use a powder blush? I do, it's just I kind of do want to I guess prioritize using up a lot of the cream products that I have because they are going to go bad sooner. So that is why I am definitely going hard on a lot of like cream blushes and bronzers and highlighters and things like that. So that is the reason why. But for this one, I decided to use the Etude House Colorful Drawing Daisy Coral Watercolor Blusher. And this one is in the color Orange 2. And this one's called Daisy Coral, and it is like an orangey, peachy kind of blush. I really like these because they do have a very light kind of pigmentation to them. You can definitely build them up, so I definitely am wearing it a little bit on the lighter side today, but I do quite like these. I think they're really cute too, and they like smell really good. So this is the one that I have been using for the week, and once again, another warm toned kind of blush I've really been digging. Now for my highlighter for this week, this was what I intended to use, and I like the first time I used it, I was like, nope, this one has to go, unfortunately. And this is the number 7 Instant Radiant Beauty Balm. I used to have this like way back in the day, but it was like a pinky tone one, but this one is like a little pearly one. It's just kind of like an overall like kind of illuminating type of product, and this one is just so old. It has that old makeup smell, and it is such a strong old makeup smell that I could not deal with it. It was the kind that just like makes your face smell like grandma makeup. And it's so unfortunate because it is a really pretty product, and I did want to use it as like kind of like an all over illuminating type of product, but I absolutely could not make this work because the smell alone was gag worthy for me. So unfortunately I am going to be decluttering this product. I just cannot get past that scent. You guys know if I don't like a product, I always try to find an alternative use for it and how to make it work for me. And 99% of the times I feel like I'm really good at finding different uses for products I don't necessarily love for their intended purposes, but that smell, it's just that old makeup smell. And I mean, it doesn't smell like bad disgusting, it just smells like old makeup smell. Like it doesn't smell like it's rotten or like anything like that, but I cannot deal with that smell, so that one unfortunately has to go. So I did end up making a swap substitution because I only used that for one day. So I ended up swapping it for a Sheglam product. This is their Glow Bloom liquid highlighter, and this one's in the color Vanilla Frost. I really like this one a lot, and I like that these have like the doe foot applicators. This is just like a really pretty kind of like vanilla pinky kind of highlighter, and it blends in so well, and I just really love the look that this one gives to the skin. So that was my substitution for the week. Next up for my brows for this week, I use the Clean Color Brow Brilliant Brow Cream Gel with Blush. Now this is a lot like the Cella eyebrow cream thing product that I believe I have shown before. So it's got the brush on one side, and then on the other side there's the little cap here that you unscrew, and this entire thing is just filled with like a brown cream eyebrow product. So it's very similar to that. I do think like color wise this one is a little bit dark, so I do try to use it like a little sparingly on my brows to not like get super dark brows. Ideally I wish this was a little bit lighter, but unfortunately this is what it is. But I definitely got the job done, but it was very similar to that Cella one, pretty much identical as far as like packaging and function goes. But I mean, like, if this is the kind of thing that like color wise works for you, there is like a deceiving amount of product in here that is like, you would not go through this for like the longest time. This would last you so long, just because like all of the product in here, you don't need very much. In this entire cap, I believe the entire cap is like filled with product, so this would definitely last a while for you if this is a really good color for you. All right, moving on, we have the eyeshadow primer. We have once again come back around to the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, so that one is what I used for this week, and you guys already know my thoughts on that one. Overall, I used to like this one a lot, but overall, I'm just trying to use this one to use it up now, but it's not my favorite and I don't think I'd repurchase. Then for my eyeshadow this week, I knew that with the particular palette that I chose, I knew I was going to need kind of like a helper product with this palette. So I wanted to make sure that I included a cream eyeshadow that I could kind of use as like a matte base kind of color. So this is the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Cream Liquid Eyeshadow, and this one is in the color Sandcastles, and it's just like this really soft kind of like brownie beigey kind of color. So that is what I used today for like my crease color. Overall, I really like these. I wish they would bring these back. I don't even know if they sell these anymore. I think I only have like one or two of these colors, and I really like the formula of it. It really reminds me a lot of the About Face fluid eye paints that I really love, but this was like so inexpensive. I mean, I probably paid like $3 or something for this when it came out, and I love these, and I wish they'd bring them back because they're really good, easy to blend, really thin texture. They don't like crumble on the lid or anything, and I just really love that. But I definitely relied a lot on that product for this week because the eyeshadow palette that I chose is one that I got from a BoxyCharm, and this is a Tarte eyeshadow palette, and this one is called the Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 palette, and this one is really pretty. However, it is like pretty much an entire shimmer palette. Now, if you guys know, I do not like using shimmers in my crease. I have hooded lids, and I like to have the mattes in the crease and shimmers on the lid. I feel like there's just something about it that doesn't really look that good on me. So this is an all shimmer palette, and it is a pretty, like, I would say safe or like a boring palette, you know? It's like all like sand beige, like a little bit of a pinky, a little bit of like a champagne-y kind of color, but I mean, really for the most part, it's pretty much all shimmer except for like this color here, and that one's not even like really a matte. It's more of like a satiny kind of finish color, and it is so like light, it really doesn't do much for me as far as like adding depth to my crease. So I definitely had to rely on this product to kind of like make these two products work together for me. But overall, I did like this palette as far as like just, you know, how pretty and easy the colors are. I mean, I feel like a lot of these colors are super similar. You're not going to get very like diverse eyeshadow looks for it. But I mean, if you just want a really quick, like safe, just kind of like slap on a shimmery kind of color and be done with it, this is a really good, easy palette to use for that. But it's just not going to give you a lot of diversity in your looks, obviously. Next up for my liquid liner, this is a new one. This is one I got from one of my last few BoxyCharms. It was either like the last one or like the second to last one. And this is from Element Beauty, and it's just called their liquid eyeliner, and I've never heard of this brand before, and this one is not my favorite just because of the brush style. So it has like one of those angled tips instead of like just like a fine type of like a calligraphy pen style. Those are my favorite. Those are the ones I like to go for. So I didn't realize that this one had that like angled, chiseled kind of tip to it, but it is still like a brush. Overall, I did make it work, but those are just not my favorite. I feel like they're good for the wing, but I don't like them for like actually doing like the length of my lid. I just feel like, I don't know. I can make it work, but it's just not my favorite, so I definitely wouldn't buy this again. But as far as eyeliner, I mean, it's a pretty decent mid eyeliner. It's not the blackest though, but it gets the job done. Then for my eyeliner, we did another one of the ones from Sheglam. I was just kind of on a kick with these and I really, really like them. This is once again one of the Live to Roam ones. This one is in the color Set Sail, and it's just like a really light, kind of like a buttery nude kind of color. So I did do that one today just to kind of like brighten and open my eyes a little bit. So I just did that on the waterline, and I just really like how awake and brightening this type of color does for me. So that is what I used for this week. Once again, mascara, we have the same duo. I have to say I'm probably like almost done with this though. The actual priming one, I definitely want to get another one, but I definitely have some other products I need to kind of look through in my collection before I buy anything, because I'm trying to like not buy stuff if I can help it. And then of course Lash Princess, the pink one, still going on that one. So those were my mascaras. Then for my lip combos of the week, the first product we have is the lip liner that I've been using. This is from the brand Misscho Beauty, and once again I think this was in one of my like last couple boxy charms, and this one's in the color Beloved. This one I definitely think the color was a little bit deeper than what I typically go for, but it definitely was like my lip color, but I would say maybe like 1 or 2 steps darker. So I did kind of try to use this one a little bit light-handed, because otherwise it would give me like really bold lips, which I'm not typically into. But this one had a really great like texture to it. It had just enough like creaminess to waxiness, so like it stayed around and didn't just like smudge away, and there was definitely a lot of really good color to that one. So I definitely really like this formula of it. I have no idea what these go for though, but as far as like a cream gel kind of lip liner, I did really enjoy that one. All right, then for my lipstick for the week, I have this little teeny tiny baby Marc Jacobs lipstick. I'm pretty sure this is like one of those Sephora birthday gifts that I've had for a while. This one is in the color Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and this one's definitely a little bit of a deeper, rosier kind of color than what I typically go for. So once again, I did kind of apply this a little bit lighter, but I had a lot of fun using like this little baby lipstick, and I have to say it really amazes me at just how long like even a teeny tiny baby lipstick will last. So that is what I used. And then since this one was a little bit more of like a deeper color, I wanted to kind of pick a lip gloss that was a little bit lighter just to kind of lighten up the lipstick color a little bit. So this one is once again another Revolution lip gloss. I love this one so much. I completely forgot I had this one and I missed this one. I actually want to apply it a little bit more right now. It's just one of those really good lip glosses that has a lot of like color to it as well. Like it has a lot of like really good color to it, and this one is in the color Marshmallow, so I really, really love this one, and it helped kind of like tone down the lipstick a little bit. And then finally, back around to the face primer. I think I forgot to use one last week, so this one I had to like snatch up out of my collection of all the things I've already used. So we are once again back to the AOA Studio Flawless Primer Spray. Now it is a primer spray, but I use it as a finishing spray and a priming spray. You guys know I've already talked about this one, but this one has a really like strong spritz. Like it feels like you're kind of hitting yourself in the face with like a water bottle. So don't love this one, but I am trying to use it up. Alright guys, and that is everything from this month of my Shop My Stash kind of roundup video. I hope you guys have been enjoying these, and like I said, I have been having so much fun with doing these. I feel like this is really a fun project that has just made me really happy and makes me look forward to Mondays to try new products and things like that, and rediscover all these items that are in my collection and things that like I either bought and used one time or things I've never used and have just been sitting around around. So this has just been a lot of fun and I have been thoroughly enjoying it. So I hope you guys have been enjoying watching these as well. But that is it for this video. I do have a couple ideas for like March to kind of switch things up just a little bit, but I was kind of thinking of like certain themes that I wanted to maybe kind of start incorporating into like my weekly choices. So definitely keep an eye out for my next one coming at the end of March. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on social media. Links are below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.